Did you do a master's in translation?
So no, I didn't. I had quite an unusual path into translation. So I studied German and philosophy at Edinburgh University. And when I graduated, I still wanted to improve my German. I felt like my German wasn't good enough to have a degree in German. Yeah, I'm quite self-critical in that way, I think. I was like, okay, I want to go to Germany, live in Germany, so that I feel like I'm fully fluent in German. So I actually sort of fell into translation by it was kind of a coincidence, really. So I was studying for a master's degree in intercultural communication, European studies. And as part of that, we did an internship, and I chose to do it at a translation agency in Frankfurt. And I really enjoyed it. And then after that, I carried on doing freelance work for the agency. And I was also asked to translate the university's website, because I was studying at a really small university in Germany, and I think I was the only British person there at the time, so I kind of got the job by default, but it actually worked out really well. So, and then it kind of just grew from there. So I didn't kind of do the I guess the normal path into translation, which is you study languages and then do a master's in it. It was very much kind of taking the practical route.
Do you think doing a master's in translation would have helped?
So I think for most people, if you sort of do a degree in modern languages and you want to become a translator, I think doing a master's would definitely be beneficial. But because I really enjoyed doing translation at university, but at that point I wasn't really thinking of it as a career choice. Not because I had anything against translation, I just hadn't really decided what I wanted to do at that point. So for me, it didn't really make sense at that point. But I think if you know you want to be a translator and you've finished your degree in languages, I think it's definitely a good way of getting into translation.
How did you get started as a freelance translator?
So as I said before, I kind of fell into it almost by accident, really. So because I really enjoyed the internship at the agency in Frankfurt, and they said that they would be happy to send me work in the future. So I did that alongside my master's studies, and I translated for the website for the university website as well. And yeah, so I kind of gained experience through that, and it sort of taught me about pricing and about how to manage projects, and kind of learning by doing, really. And then when I graduated from my master's degree in Germany, I moved to Berlin and started working in-house for a translation company. And then after a year, moved back to the UK and carried on getting work from the agency that I'd done the internship with and the place that I've been working at in Berlin. So I had kind of two agency clients, and then it just kind of built up from there. So it was a very gradual process, but it all just kind of fell into place for me. I mean, I was very lucky in that sense.
I was going to ask, was it hard to get business to begin with? But
so for me, because I had that really lucky break, I guess, it wasn't particularly, I mean, to get more clients aside from the two companies that I'd already worked directly for, I'd say possibly. I mean, that did take quite a while to kind of reach out to more people and to get used to kind of applying to other agencies and finding direct clients. That did take a while, but initially I didn't have a problem with it. And I think if I had, I probably wouldn't have become a translator, if that makes sense, because it was kind of just sort of fate.
Yeah.
In my case.
And what would you say the benefits are of being a freelance translator compared to an in-house translator for a company?
So I think it's different at different times in your career, maybe. So I think initially working in-house is probably a good way to get started. It gives you a lot of experience. You kind of see how it works from the inside. You obviously have a steady income, and you can kind of, I guess, if you then decide to go on to become a freelancer, you can get work from the agency that you worked for. So it's quite a good way into it, I think. But for me, I definitely prefer being a freelancer just because of the freedom it gives you, the fact that you can choose which jobs you take on. You can go out and find the clients you want to work with. You can work the hours you want to work. You can make as much or as little money as you want, depending on how much time you want to spend working. I would say you could set your own rates, but there's obviously pressure from certain agencies and places to have a specific rate. But yeah, I just think the freedom it gives you. But then on the other hand, it is essentially running your own business. So there's more to it than just translating if you're a freelancer, which is also something to bear in mind. So it doesn't suit everyone, but if you're well organized and you've got good time management skills and good discipline, I think it can be a really good career choice, definitely.
Would you recommend becoming a certified translator?
So it's something that I didn't do until last year, actually. It's when work slowed down massively when the pandemic hit. I kind of thought, okay, I'm going to use this time to finally get round to getting certified. So it's kind of something that I'd always thought about, but never really had the time or the kind of real push to do. So I managed for many years. I mean, I've been translating for about 15 years now, and so 14 of those years I wasn't certified, and it wasn't an issue for me at all. I was basically a freelancer working my own little bubble. I didn't really know any other translators at that point either. I was very kind of was basically just in my own bubble, working with the clients I had. That was it, kind of thing. So being certified means you're part of a professional organisation, which means you naturally network with other translators. You have more of an insight into what's going on in the industry, I would say. You get access to webinars and conferences that you wouldn't get otherwise. And you can also provide certified translations, which means you can work with non-business clients who need sort of certificates translating or documents for the Home Office. Plus, it also looks good. It shows that you meet a certain level of professional standards and that you're, I guess that you care about the standard of your work, and it's a good kind of badge to have as well, I think.
Do you know if you get certified by doing a master's, or would it be a different?
So to be a certified translator, you need to be a member of, so in the UK, you need to be a member of the Institute of Translation and Interpreting, the ITI, or the Chartered Institute of Linguists. So just having a master's doesn't make you a certified translator. You have to be a member of one of those two official bodies.
Have you ever done any interpreting, or has it always just been written translation?
So to be honest, the thought of interpreting really scares me, because just the idea of having to listen to what someone's saying, translate it in your head, remember what they've said, and then say it all at the same time, it really scares me. I've never done it. I have massive respect for people that do interpreting, because I just think it's so impressive as a skill. But I'm very much a written word kind of person. So I stick to my strengths.